the intro music. Yeah! Woo!
Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. I don't know why I did that, but we will talk today about grading this past month, April 2024. But before we do that, we've got a good update that you'll notice in your store, whether it be PC, Android, Apple, etc., that you're going to want to go download first. So good news to start off with the stream. Finally, like I say that sincerely, finally they have fixed all the clicks. So we're going to read through these. We've reverted the faction bundles to their previous functionality where the respective cost was being displayed and not the view button. So all the extra clicks gone. Yay. We're getting a bunch of bug fixes here to wrap up the end of the month, which I think is a good thing. We've now technically gotten 3 updates this month. So we had the ARC launch, then we had the mid-month update, and now we're getting this client update to fix a lot of bugs. Colored triangles on Armada targets are back based on y'all's request. Fix an issue with visible cloaked ships seeing when zooming out. Fix an issue with incorrect results showing up in away teams when filtering for officers not on a ship. Fix an issue with low-level ships on level 8 systems showing the wrong icon for hostiles. Ship XP bar being empty in the ship management screen when the ship reaches max tier and level. STFC.space got a fix. A UI glitch for several different things. And again, these are all good bug fixes coming at the end of the month. It's posted in my Discord. If you have not joined the Discord, strongly encourage you to. It is in the comments section or is in the description of the video. It's also just discord.gg/RevDeuce. Just type it in your browser and come join if you want to. Have all this information posted. So I think it's a strong way to end the arc or end the month because the arc's not over. But I am super excited to not have to click all those buttons. I actually just, see the cost of things now, and that is so good. We talked about that being a bug that came this month and took them 3 weeks to fix it, but I'm just glad that it got fixed. So let's start talking about the month as a whole. We're going to do like we normally do. I will try to move a little bit quicker because I don't want this to be a 15-minute video. We're going to grade it. And as always, your grades are yours. So don't feel like you have to grade it based on what I think. I won't give you my opinion until the very end of this video. But we will cover it. And I will admit that as I talk, I tend to naturally kind of like probably make you feel how I feel about something, but try to bear with me as we try to stay as neutral as possible. So if you've never done this before, the link to this is in the description and the comment section, and we'll post it on Discord and we'll post it on Facebook. And I have a meeting with the overlords this week about the results. So we'll go over what's good, what's bad, etc. I will do neutral results to start as I always do. So I'm just going to click things. I'm going to say I'm from the APAC today. Shout out to New Zealand. So we're going to start with officers and officer grading. So we had 3 officers this month, and their value is definitely debatable. I think one was a must-have. Like, I think she's super good, and that's Nurse Chapel. I think Mbenga and Kirk are solid, just not necessarily, like, amazing. So here's Kirk here in the background. I have not unlocked him. Here's Mbenga. I did get Mbenga through one of the leaderboards, and then if you scroll over in the rares, you're going to find our good old friend as you get through all the Nurse Chapel. She's actually very good. But here's the thing. There's no sourcing for these, at least as of yet. And the best one was the rare, but you couldn't even get this guaranteed even if you purchased the battle pass. So sourcing, obviously a big issue with these. In terms of ability, quite good, but y'all can grade it based on what you think they're worth, and we'll move on from that. I do think that Nurse Chapel is a must-have, but if no way to get her, not really good for the average player. Let's talk about features, though. This is where it gets a little, I wouldn't call it squirrely or anything. I don't think that gets kind of wild, but I do think that there was a lot of features to be discussed. So let's just talk about the general stuff. Let's back out real quick. The big thing, obviously, is going to be the Gorn hostiles, right? That's the big one for the higher level players. Why is the Gorn hostile a big deal? Because it truly has helped with sourcing of different things. If I pop open my refinery real quick and scroll down to the bottom, you'll find the Isomatter refinery, which is helping you get faction credits, uncommons, rares, etc. So I got actually some epics. I got faction credits, which I do need, speed ups, which I really need, officer XP. Cool. I can do this every day. The hostile's not hard to kill. It actually has sourcing for artifacts to help speed up that acquisition. And I'm not saying they drop a lot, but it's an everyday turn-in. It also has officer sourcing for things like Enterprise Data and Neelix, who are both really needed in the game. So I think as a feature, it definitely provided a quality to those that it applies to. Obviously, this is for G4 players and above. So if you don't actually qualify for that, like you're not a G4 player, which is completely okay, you'll notice, I'm just going to see here, you'll notice that there is a below level 40 doesn't apply to me. You can click that if you don't want to grade it. Now, what does apply to everybody is the War Room. And the War Room for me is a huge positive, but I realized that maybe that's not for everybody because it got paired with what, in my opinion, was a terrible leaderboard event. But anyway, the War Room is what it is. It provides pretty good bonuses. It has more rewards as you level it up. It provides more and more. Mine giving me the 4-star there. And this is something that's currently set to run every 2 weeks. That doesn't mean that same leaderboard is going to run every 2 weeks, but that leaderboard I personally strongly against. I like the War Room with the bonuses to shield health, officer stats, and big here is isolytics. So this is going to help you with those Gorn hostiles if you haven't already. And that base boost right there is super beneficial. So I'm a fan of the War Room and it having sourcing, which is built around your whole alliance working together. I love those type of things. I think one thing this community has always shown is that community-based events, building stuff is something that we can rally around. I don't expect everybody to agree to that. I don't expect everybody to like it. Again, this is what the thing is for. That way, if I feel some type of way, but it's not how all of y'all feel, y'all can mark us. I'm just going to do like I normally do and hit C's on everything so we can progress through this point. But I think feature-wise, pretty good. And then I added this one here at the bottom. Quality of life improvements. Did you think the quality of life improvements were good? So the Ex-Borg loop boxes being drastically improved. Territory particles being boosted, so you get more territory particles if your alliance has territory. And then adding massive territory. Those are some big ones, but there were other ones as well, like the Borg Cube got an improvement. There was several quality of life that ran through, so I wanted to ask, did y'all feel like there was a lot of quality of life added or it wasn't good enough? I want y'all's honest opinion. Y'all can click whatever you want to click. So moving on to the calendar, and this one is where I don't feel like this is the strongest one, honestly. I'm trying not to give my grades, but I'm just being honest. I'm just going to go ahead and mark C so you don't see what my grade is until the very end. But this is the big one, the Galactic PvP event. So the specific event that I'm talking about is the Galactic Alliance Leaderboard, where basically what everybody did is they just marked 20 alliances as negative, used that to boost the scoring, and then servers either turned it into a Rialta bombing fest or it became a purge event for 4 or 5 days. And it was the entire galaxy. I made it very clear that I think for PvP events like that to work, they need to be relegated to certain areas like territory or all of Klingon space or something, not the entire map. That allows the players who don't like PvP to actually still be able to do things instead of worry about being smacked every 30 seconds. That's just my opinion. So I'll just go ahead and say this one. I voted bad. This is what I voted in my personal voting. I thought that was a bad event. And if y'all agree or disagree, let me know, because I will be going over that with the Overlords. And the goal is that this response gets 2,000 players responding like we did last month, which is absolutely phenomenal to get 2,000 people in under 2 days to come in and say what they think about the game. So y'all let me know what you think about it. I think the events had some good synergy. I absolutely love the Butcher of Jagal event, which was very lore friendly. And I always want to give them props when they do Star Trek lore friendly events. Like, come on, it's a Star Trek game. And it feels like at times we don't have enough of the lore friendliness, but we did this month. There's that one big event that I think that's just really put a taste in some people's mouths, and I understand why. Moving on to the next one, communication. I do feel like communication was pretty solid this month. We can argue maybe not as good as it was the previous month, but I do think it was good. I really do. The one thing that was missing for me communication-wise is, if you remember last month, they were using the admin chatbot. Now, I do want to say that I feel like they did pretty good communication-wise. If you actually open up your news center here in the middle, you'll notice obviously you have all the notes that got released. At one time we had like 4 or 5 of these in here. It was constantly letting you know what was coming, events that were coming. That got used pretty, I would say, liberally. You have the videos tab, which has had multiple updates this month, which I think is good. I think that's adding quality to the game. And then beyond that, you also had a pretty consistent presence on the Discord. Now, I did have to nudge them a couple times for some things in the Discord, but truthfully, I felt like most people, or most of them, did a pretty good job of announcing things. Now, there were some that were a little bit late. Like, for example, the incursions announcement was a little bit late. But, you know, talk about the events that were happening and keeping everybody updated on the pairings when we got the pairings changed, and the mid-month update, and all these different things. I felt like, for the most part, this was a solid month for communication. I don't think it was as good as last month, but it was still much better than we had become used to. So I think that's a good thing, and hopefully that continues to move in that direction. Y'all can vote on that based on your own personal feelings, though. If you thought it was terrible, well, then say it was terrible. I'm just going to go ahead and mark it. Then finally, last but not least, grading game stability. I'm going to go ahead and mark my C there. And then finally, quality versus quantity. Did you feel like you had a quality month? So I'm going to leave all mine blank here and just let y'all decide for yourself. Obviously, stability is going to be based on lag and things like that. Y'all give your experiences. I want to know the truth because we have seen stability improving for about 3 months now in terms of your grading here in these surveys. And we've shared those results with everybody. But maybe it took a turn for the worse this month. Y'all got to let us know. All right, now is the time, 10 minutes in, for me to do Rev's grades. I'm going to clear the form. I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I'm just going to do it live with you. So I'm going to use my main account that y'all see. I'm not going to use any of my other accounts. The US server. For me, the officers are good, but I'm going to put a B. Why do I say B? Well, B stands for one officer is a must-have, and it's just true. I do feel like Nurse Chapel's a must-have, but there's no sourcing, so there's no bonus points for sourcing here. I'm not going to give them bonus points. In fact, the sourcing is non-existent. I do think that one officer is a must-have and the others are good, so I'll give that a B. But until they actually get sourced, it doesn't matter if that B is there. It might as well be an F. All right, features. Be honest, I felt like the features, I am sick of new loops, but in terms of what I got this month for my personal gameplay, it drastically improved my gameplay. It eliminated 3 loops that I no longer have to do, and it gave me a loop that is contributing to other loops, making them progress faster. So for me, it's a huge W. That doesn't mean it has to be that way for everybody. I love the Gorn Isomatter and Hostile loop, even though it's a loop. I hate new loops, but that has helped me speed up acquisition of officers, artifacts, and faction credits and materials. The War Room, I really personally like, and I do feel like for me, at this account, level 50, if you're level 34, you can have a completely different answer, and that's okay, that it was good month for quality of life improvements. Now, the event calendar. C, I think there was good things about it, but this was a huge killer for me. Bad. Hated this event. Terrible. And this is coming from a guy who OPC hunts and territory battles and PvPs. I hated that ALB PvP event. Absolutely hated it. Loathed entirely. Abhor. Couldn't stand it. That's just my personal opinion. Then moving on to communication. Again, B, I don't think it was great. I do think a little bit less than last month, but still very good for what it's been historically. And then for me, I played a lot more on my phone this month than normal because I had a lot of like my daughters having dance and we had multiple birthday parties and stuff. So I ended up playing a lot on my phone more than I usually do. And it was fine for me. Again, you graded how it was for you. Every now and then I'll talk to people like on iOS and stuff. I was actually talking to Beam over on server 121 and he was having crashes pretty frequently this month. So if y'all have it as a D or an F, feel free to put that. And this is the first month that I probably personally feel it really was quality over quantity. But again, it's about where you are as a player. When it eliminated 3 loops for me, like I no longer do Borg probes, I no longer do Actium, I sped up several loops thanks to the Ex-Borg improvement. That's big for me quality-wise. So it's like the first month for that, even though it added another loop. That doesn't mean that you can't have different opinions. I'm gonna go ahead and click next and submit. There is mine, I am done. Let me know what you think though, honest opinion, because you don't have to be positive about everything. And if you're one of those players that goes and put F everywhere, that's completely fine. Just list your reasons. We'll break it down and we'll give it to the overlords. And whatever the majority results are, we'll definitely show everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for all those who contribute and make these things possible and valuable because I can't go to Scopely without people like you out there in the game, level 1 through 70, helping. I just want to say thank you. Live long and plunder. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video. And I'm out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.